Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to give you your April 2016 mid-month readings. I continue to use the Gilded Tarot deck, and even though we are looking at the last half of the month rather than the month entire, I'm still going to be using the same 8-card spread with an additional card as your crowning card, general theme, feeling, advice over the reading. I always preface this by saying, please be aware these are general readings, so they may not apply or resonate the same for everyone who watches. Some months, your rising and your moon sign may resonate more predictably for you, so make sure to check those as well. Thank you to those of you who continue to watch and listen and subscribe. I so much enjoy reading your feedback, both the ones you put on my channel and the ones you send via email. Keep those coming. They're very appreciated, and thank you so much for your support. And a thank you, as always, to those of you who continue to reach out for personal readings. Always an honor, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to read for you. And for those of you who are interested in a one-on-one reading with me, you can click on the About sign for more information, and you can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I do readings full-time, so I work pretty diligently with your schedule to get you a reading as quickly as possible. Current turnaround time is around 1 to 4 or 5 days. So again, if you're interested, shoot me an email and I would be delighted to work with you. So let's get into this. This reading is for Pisces. Ooh, we had a jumper. Pisces for April 2016 mid-month. Pisces are mercurial fish. What does the remainder of April 2016 hold for you? Pisces, April 2016. Pisces, April 2016. Pisces, April 2016. Okay. We begin with the Four of Swords, followed by the Empress, the Justice card, followed by the Lovers, the Nine of Swords, followed by the Two of Pentacles, the Six of Cups, followed by the Eight of Wands, and as your crowning card, the overall theme and advice over the reading from the bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Cups. Interesting, I believe the Ten of Cups was the crowning card for Cancer as well, another fellow fire sign, or sister fire sign as the case may be. So let's take a look, Pisces. Interesting. Okay, let's begin, Pisces. I feel like this is gonna, well, of course it is. It's a general reading, but I feel like it's really gonna resonate quite differently for different groups of you in terms of subject matter, which is almost always the case, but I am feeling a very distinctive split here. So we find ourselves at the middle of April 2016, Pisces, with the Four of Swords, accompanied by the Empress. Four of Swords. Swords is governed by the element of air, and Swords is a suit all about our words and ideas, how we think, how we look at things, our mental perspectives, our mindsets, our belief systems even. The Four of Swords is primarily a card of rest and respite. It's a card of feeling depleted, exhausted. Perhaps some of you may have been desperately in need of a rest, but I actually feel like for the majority of you, this is energy which has just been going on. There's perhaps some of you have been taking a time out. Some of you have been resting a little more. For some of you, this is going to resonate as feeling like you want to take a time out, feeling like you want to take a step back, withdrawing from conflict somehow. It feels like there's, I think for some of you, a lot of you, you're wrestling with trying to balance something out, trying to make a decision in regards to something. And you may have taken a time out to consider this, or you may feel like you need to take a step back and go within to figure this out. The Four of Swords can also represent taking a step back, going within, examining our thoughts and feelings about something to figure out how to get through it. Um, it's a card of temporarily withdrawing from some kind of challenge, struggle, either to take a break from it or to do a little bit of soul searching to figure out an answer or a path through it. Now that Four of Swords is accompanied by the Empress card, Major Arcana card, Fingers of the Divine, as I like to call them. The Empress card I'm feeling as advice right now that whether you feel like you need to take a step back, or I think for the larger portion of you, you have been considering something as represented by that Four of Swords. The Empress card feels like a very strong message from God, Spirit, the universe, whatever your source of spiritual foundation is, that now is the time to actually begin something. Whatever you've been considering doing, making a decision to go one way or the other, start a new project, go forward in a new relationship or in a new direction in a currently existing relationship. The Empress is all about fertility, new beginnings, rebirth, pregnancy. For some of you, this may resonate as a pregnancy issue. If you're considering if now is the right time to start a family, the Empress says it is. She is all about fertility, the ground being ripe, seeds. The ground is perfect for seeds to be sown. The Empress and the energy of the Empress, she is somebody who is the ultimate earth mother of the tarot. She's all about nurturing things and making them grow, planting the seeds, nourishing them, watching them grow and helping them grow to their proper fruition. She's all about putting the yeast in the bread and watching it proof itself. Again, if any of you are considering making new moves, beginning something new, and I think for some of you this is going to be love, some of you this is going to be business, some of you this is going to be reflected around your home. Now is the good time to follow up with anything that you have been considering doing or beginning. For some of you too, there is a piece of advice attached to this in coupling with this Four of Swords card. There's also a theme of nurturing, self-nurturing yourself too, taking care of yourself. Again, that rest and respite card too. Some of you may need to also keep in mind the remainder of this month, particularly if you're struggling with a challenge or a decision-making process of some kind, to try and take some time out, carve a little bit of time out for yourself and make sure that you are taking good care of yourself. Go out perhaps and get in touch with nature on a regular basis, whatever you do to make yourself feel better and self-nurture yourself as well. But it looks like now is the right time to begin anything new that you have been considering or going in new directions in already currently existing situations. Now, and I think the outcome of it's going to depend entirely on what you put into it, because the next coupling of cards we have, Pisces, is just, let me take a look at your major arcana. You have 1, 2, 3, and they're all right next to each other too. So right next to that, we have the Justice card paired with the Lovers card. So the Justice card, another major arcana card, and the presence of major arcana cards represents strong advice or significant and profound life change or life shift. The Justice card is a card of what you sow is exactly what you're going to reap. What you put into something is exactly what you're going to get out of it. The advice is to go into it with as much truth, honor, and integrity as possible, because the outcome or the decision, how it plays out, is going to depend on that, because justice is blind and impartial, at least it's supposed to be. You can see that justice on this card is displayed as she usually is, as a woman, blindfolded, holding the scales of justice evenly, because particularly in a legal or courtroom, so any kind of legal situation, negotiations, contracts, for some of you for whom this may resonate as a business or career issue or project. Justice is fairly impartial, meaning that the result and the outcome is based entirely upon the facts, the logic, the information, and the proven motivations of the people involved in the situation. So the Justice card is a very strong piece of advice to, again, maintain truth, honor, and integrity. What you put into this is exactly what you're going to get out of it. So be very mindful, be very thoughtful, be very conscious of your motivations, your decisions in moving through this thing. For some of you, this is going to represent a love situation or having to make a decision about something. That Justice card is paired with another major arcana card. We have the Lovers. Now, this is going to play out a couple of different ways. For some of you, the advice of the Justice card is going to represent a relationship and a very close soulmate connected, passionate, fiery relationship as well. Um, there is something about it that it looks like the outcome of something. And perhaps if you've been struggling with something within a relationship, whether it's the relationship itself has been rocky, you are considering perhaps, again, we have that Four of Swords and the Empress card, perhaps the time is right. You're feeling a desire to push it in a new direction, push it in a deeper direction. Perhaps you're considering whether or not to move it to the next step, a deeper level of commitment, however that may play out for you. Or you're considering doing that because someone has made that offer to you. The Justice card again says the outcome is going to depend on how you look at it, how you go into it, and just carefully examine your thoughts, your motives, your decisions, your actions before you take any moves, and make sure that the decisions you make moving through this are really what you want and authentic to who you are. The Lover's card also represents needing to make a decision in something. Again, for some of you, this is going to be love. Some of you, this may be a more Pentacles, material world energy. Um, yeah. In the early tarot decks, this card was not even called the Lover's card. It was called the Decision, the Choice. And it depicted a man standing in front of two women standing in front of a man. And it was about needing to make a choice. And again, I think for some of you, this is going to represent having to make a choice about something, a relationship, taking it to a new level, beginning a relationship with someone. Perhaps for some of you, this is a reconciliation of a relationship as well, because we have that Six of Cups and the Eight of Wands, which strongly speaks of communication about something from the past, someone from your past, perhaps a past relationship. So for some of you, this is going to resonate as going through a decision-making process, kind of withdrawing a bit, considering going through a decision-making process on what to do about this relationship, regardless of what kind of relationship it is. For those of you business, career, creative projects, I still get the feeling that the Empress is saying the time is right to, sorry about the light, it keeps fluctuating today, that the time is right to actually move into a new direction, however that resonates for you. But it looks like there's a fair amount of mental struggle and concerns and anxiety going into this thing too. It looks like there's a strong sense that whatever this issue is that you're struggling with, wanting to move forward, maybe wanting to have a reconciliation with someone, go back to a former job, begin a new project. The Empress says this time is right to act. But it looks like you're still juggling, you're still kind of going back and forth, and there's a lot of mental stress, anxiety, and worry about that, because right after Justice and the Lovers, we have the Nine of Swords, followed by the Two of Pentacles. So the Nine of Swords, again, we have that mental cerebral suit, our thoughts, our ideas, how we look at things. The Nine of Swords is almost a mental torture card. I almost always get a sense of circular thinking from this card, just these thoughts, worries, anxieties, stress going around and around and around and around. It won't let you sleep, or it's interfering with your life somehow, as evidenced by this woman sitting up in bed. It's late at night. The moon has risen high in the sky. Everyone else is probably sleeping, but she's not. She's sitting up in bed, kind of with her arms folded over, completely consumed mentally and emotionally with whatever it is her source of stress, anxiety, worry is. However, there's this little owl kind of sitting on the windowsill there, representing wisdom, truth, insight, piece of clarity, a solution. She's not noticing that owl, even though it's very close to her, because all of her mental and emotional energy is spent on worry, anxiety, and stress. So it does imply that there is some answer, some piece of insight, clarity, wisdom right in front of you or very close to you, Pisces, that you're not seeing because all of your energy is spent on negatively focusing on what could go wrong, what is going wrong, what might go wrong. The strong piece of advice to this card is to let that go. It's in your head. I'm actually not seeing any truly negative or even moderately negative things reflected in your outer environment at all. So again, whatever concerns or fears you have about moving through this thing, about making a decision about it, whatever it is for you, Pisces, this card strongly suggests that the majority of it is in your head. And that's not to invalidate any fears, especially connected to past experiences. It's not to negate or invalidate stresses that you have. But this is a card that represents that you are building it up in your head to be much bigger and much worse than it actually is. The cards reflected in your outer environment look quite good. So please, please, I strongly suggest you try and take most, if not all, of that energy out of future tripping on what could go wrong, what might be wrong, how it could turn out, and kind of put yourself back in balance again, because this Nine of Swords is accompanied by the Two of Pentacles, which is a card about, it can't be a card about juggling again, about needing to make a decision. It's about duality and balance and kind of balancing between a number of things. And it looks like that Nine of Swords is kind of taking away your sense of balance, or that you're afraid by moving through this thing and making decisions around it that you're going to lose your sense of balance. And that's part of what you're worried about. But again, I really feel like the majority of what you're worried about, if not all of it, is mostly illusionary. It's in your head, and it may be based on past experiences and past fears. But in the cards around it, it looks to be quite good. You have the happy home, happily ever after. Ten of Cups is your crowning energy. So you have some beautiful cards. The Empress, it's fertile. The time is right to begin whatever it is you're thinking of beginning. You have Justice and the Lovers upright. Beautiful cards. Be thoughtful and mindful about how you walk through it, but don't let your fears dictate your decisions, Pisces. Now, at or towards the end of the month, we have the Six of Cups, followed by the Eight of Wands. So Cups is governed by the element of water. Cups is a suit about our feelings and emotions. It can also be about love and relationships, how we relate to people in the world around us. The Six of Cups can be a card of reminiscence, nostalgia, looking backwards. This can represent someone from the past coming back in, perhaps someone you had a past relationship with, reconciling with someone you've been on rocky terms with, whether this is love and romance or a previously close connected relationship. And for some of you, that may be what the struggle is. Do I reconcile with them? Do I leave myself open for that? Some of you, this can also represent travel back to see somebody, travel back to see family, roots of origin somehow. It's a card about looking back at a time where you felt a little more carefree, that you didn't have the stresses and worries and concerns that you do today. Again, it's a card strongly associated with the past, traveling back to the past, looking back at the past, or the past coming back into you, which I feel for the majority of you is the truth, because that card is accompanied by the Eight of Wands, which is the card of communication, flowing back and forth, swift, powerful, profound communication. Eight of Wands. Wands is governed by the element of fire and air. Very dynamic combination. The suit of Wands is all about change, movement, action, power. It's a very active, action-oriented suit. And the Eight of Wands is about communication. This can be by phone, email, text, regular mail, any forms of communication back and forth. And it's attached with the Six of Cups, which is a card about the past. So again, for some of you Pisces, this issue that you're struggling with, perhaps for a lot of you, it looks like it has something to do with your past. If it's not someone from your past that you're considering reconnecting with, perhaps going back to an old job, for those of you for whom this is not love and relationship, there's a feeling that it may have an effect on your home life as well. There's communication perhaps towards the end of the month, going back and forth from this person from the past, perhaps from a family relationship. In the upright position, it feels like the communication is going to be positive, that it's going to flow very well, and it's going to help you in your decision-making process. I feel like whatever, again, I want to stress that whatever your fears and anxieties are, if they're based on the past, it feels like that's where they remain, and that's where you need to leave these stresses and anxieties and fears in the past. Your crowning card, the overall energy over this reading, Pisces, is the Ten of Cups. So I really think that despite what's going on in your head, let go of that illusionary fear that's keeping you bound up and feeling out of balance, or making you feel like you're going to be out of balance if you move forward on something based on negative fears or connections to the past. Because the Ten of Cups is a card about happiness, wholeness, integration, comfort, a sense of belonging, a sense of feeling right and authentic. Tens represent the ends of cycles, the culmination of things, the coming full circle, finally, in a beautiful thing. It's like finally coming home at the end of a long day, finally being in a place where you feel whole and integrated and just where you're supposed to be. It's the happy home card. There's a rainbow of full goblets here. the artist depicted this as if this is what he was or she was coming home to at the end of the day. Just comfort, a wholeness, knowing that you belong, family, love, everything coming together, all the puzzle pieces fitting. And that's your overall energy. So, Pisces, it looks really good for you. Uh, please, please withdraw or work as much as you can to disconnect yourself from at least the bulk of these mental fears and anxieties you have, which I think for some of you are almost torturous. I think for a lot of you, they're connected to the past. Again, it could be a reconciliation issue. However it resonates for you, it um, looks like the time is right to forge ahead on something, and it looks really positive, Pisces, really beautiful. So I hope you've enjoyed this reading. It's been an interesting one. I hope it's resonated at least for some of you and given you some insight and clarity on the path that lies ahead and perhaps how to forge ahead on that path. So if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, again, you can click on the About sign for more information, and you can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. And Pisces, until I see you again in a couple of weeks for the May 2016 general readings, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Thanks for watching, Pisces, and I'll see you soon.